Just let me know if you can see me, Moira. You might have to send it to me via Messenger because I'm not sure. Is it working? Okay, that's fine. I can fix that. We'll just go this way today. I'm not gonna, I could go out and come back in and mess with my screen so that so that I can do it landscape, but with all the issues that YouTube is having, I'm just gonna go like this. Let's see. Okay. All right, let me send the link out to the members now that it's actually working. And I don't even care that we're early because it's been giving me all kind of fits and stuff. So if it's going to go live, then I'm just going to take it while I can get it. Thank you, Moira, for helping me to make sure that this was actually going to work. Okay. Agreed. Moira, go pour some wine. We're going to be working with some wood back stamps today. I'm pretty sure most people have these in their stash, and we're just gonna go with what we have here because I'm scared to go out and come back in, for lack of a better word. It was just not working earlier today. Okay, wood grain stamp. Let's let a couple people pop in and say hello. You can go ahead and leave a comment if you like. My phone decided it was going live in portrait mode, and I'm going with it because YouTube said it would accept it. So it's an error out on me, so we're just gonna kind of go with it. But I think I'm gonna move my oh, wait, did I do it? There we go. All right, that works because now you can see this area of my mat, and then I know I can just work on that area of my mat. And we'll close the mat. And then you guys will be able to see everything that I'm doing. Okay. So we're gonna work with wood block stamps today. If you have ever worked with wood block stamps before, you probably have them in your stash. I have a whole bunch of them. We're gonna wait a couple minutes, see if anyone else pops on. decided to work with these today because I have quite the collection of like large wood block stamps. Not quite the collection. I have a couple. And they're like an oldie but a goodie. So I still use them and I still love them. So I thought we would kind of do a poll and chit chat, and we'll make a whole background page using these background stamps. So we'll pick a stamp and then we'll grab some hot press watercolor paper and we'll kind of find some mediums. I don't know what medium we'll use today. Maybe watercolors? Yeah. If you've been scrapbooking a long time, you have these in your stash. A lot of mine are Hero Arts stamps. And they're red rubber. And yes, I know you can remove the rubber back from these. So you can just remove the rubber and use a little adhesive to take, or Goo Gone to take the adhesive off, and then you can use these in a MISTI or whatever. But I've never felt the need to use them in a MISTI. I've always thought that they just kind of worked really well. So we have a script one. I have this one that looks like lace. I have this one that's like textury. I have this pretty one. I have this grid one. Hi Karen, I'm so glad you're here. Yay! Hopefully no one gets booted off. We can kind of just get working here. And then I have this one, which is like an abstract, kind of floral. And then this one, which is like a mandala kind of print. So do go ahead and let me know if you have a preference as to which one we play with today. I don't know that we could layer any of them. Maybe we could layer, yeah, we could layer the script on top of any of these actually. I just have to be careful with my stamping colors. Okay, so go ahead in the comments below. Any of these look good. We'll call this one lace. We'll call this one grid. We'll call this one funny flowers. This is like damask. This reminds me of like old wallpaper. Does it have a name on it? This one looks like a canvas color. The linen look one. Okay, is that this one? This linen one? Okay, so let's do this one. And, oh, a map one. That's cool. Okay, so Moira, if you're going to be able to do what we're going to do with this. So we'll use these two. I'm going to make a whole background with this today. And then what I can do is if I want to cut it up later, I can cut it up later. All right. So let's talk. Yeah, we're going to do the linen one and the text one. That's what we're going to do. I'm going to use my Sizzix Maker's tape just to hold this in place. And I'm working on my Tim Holtz Map Media mat because we're going to get messy for sure. Okay, and we're going to do a full background today. So we can do shimmers sprays with stamps. We can do just an inking. So we can try Distress Oxides, one of those three, watercolors, Distress Oxides, or shimmers. What do you guys want? Give you guys a minute because I know I'm a little bit like behind. surprise us, Karen says. All right. Let's do the shimmers. I'm curious. I wanna play with my shimmers a little bit. Okay. So this is my little shimmers basket. And since I've joined the design team, it has become quite full. So let's see, I need a color that is light. And I'm thinking pink. Pink just seems like the color I want to play with today. Why don't we do some pink, and we'll do some orange and some teal, and we'll make this background so it matches Cocoa Vanilla Studios Sunkissed. Hi, Alice. Okay, we're gonna work with woodblock stamps today. So we've already chosen 2 patterns. We're gonna make a full background. We're gonna play with woodblock stamps, and we have decided we're going to mix and match and stamp with some Shimmers paints, some Shimmers products. But what I'm gonna do will work for watercolors or anything else you have. So we're gonna do, let's do some Sweetheart, let's do some Cotton Candy. We're gonna go with a color combination to match Sunkissed. So I'm gonna start with those 2 first, and then we'll come back with some more. And I think we're gonna layer mediums, so we're gonna start with the sprays, but then we're gonna come back in and stamp with some ink and some other kinds of colors. Okay. So I have Maker's Tape on my hot press watercolor paper, and I'm going to go ahead and kind of put this aside, just off to the side. Okay. I'm going to test spray, so I'm starting with the Vibes in Sweetheart, so that's going to give us a ton of just like, what's the word? Shimmer. I'm just going to go ahead and check, make sure my sprayer is working. And we're just going to spray this quite liberally. I'm going to soak that up. And this could be anything. This doesn't have to be shimmer sprays. It can be watercolors. You can grab a watercolor paintbrush and paint. That will be good. So we chose a background that is texture, and we're going to overlap that texture. So we're going to move the stamp around in all different directions. I'm going to come back into that first puddle of stamping. Yes, it's smushing. Yes, I know. That's okay. It's going to look afraid at first. What is it that Alice, Missy Whitten says? Just keep going. Just keep going. I'm going to hold my stamp out. I'm going to do this over my garbage. I'm going to hold my stamp out and squirt a little more. Not so liberal this time. And then I'm going to grab a bit of a brush and a bit of water, because I don't want harsh lines. I don't want those. No harsh lines. Smush it around a bit. Haha. Karen, I am using hot press watercolor paper. I like Speedball fluid hot press watercolor paper. That's my favorite. So we've got like a big smush going on here. Let's do like a big smush down here to kind of balance it out a bit. And then we'll take our brush and kind of smush it down. This is just a dry brush, no water needed. We're just going to blur the edges. Nice thing about Shimmer's paints, or you know, anything from Shimmer's really, is it dries super quick. So you can see I'm kind of keeping the brush in motion, kind of giving it a little bit of movement. Okay. And then blot a little bit off. I don't mind if my paper towel makes a bit of a design on my background. Okay, so this is just the first layer, but you can see we do have some of our stamp. We're going to add more of our stamp in a minute, but some of our stamp here. I'm going to kind of let that start to dry a bit. And then we're going to grab an ink. I'm going to do Juicy Dough. I understand, Karen. I'm not a fan of predictive text either. Due to predictive text, I accidentally swore at my husband the other day. He thought it was hilarious. I was absolutely mortified. Okay, so this is Juicy Dough ink from Catherine Pooler. We're going to kind of come in to these little more kind of splotchy bits. And we're going to add a bit more texture to them. And then come in with a paintbrush. This paintbrush needs a little water. You just want to smudge the edges because you don't want the texture to, you don't want that block look. I mean, if you like it, you can totally keep it. Just move quickly. We're going to get the heat tool out in a second before we add our text layer. A bit more. Karen thinks it's funny I swore at my husband. He thought it was funny too. He's like, he's sending me these memes that say I need Jesus. Yes, the softened edges do definitely make a difference. Agreed. And then, again, just grab a little water. Kind of pull that ink off and get rid of those. I think when it comes to a lot of things using stamping, and when you're creating backgrounds with them, softened edges make all the difference. So we're taking like a throwback in your stash type of a product, those wood block stamps, and we're kind of reinventing them into something that's kind of cool and new and hip and all that stuff. Okay. This has a lot of water on it. I want to let it sit just a smidge. It needs to dry just a smidge. I'd rather dry it with air than with anything else. Speaking of which, Moira, who is helping me with, I'm just cleaning my stamp block. Moira, who's helping me with the technical aspects, since YouTube doesn't like me today. Is the fan behind me that's keeping me cool, is it bothersome? Is the noise bothersome? Because I can turn it off. I'll sweat for you guys, it's okay. Alright. Okay, so now we have another big block stamp. This is a text stamp. And we're gonna do, okay, thank you, Karen. Let's see, what colors? We need a little bit more orange, remember, because we're gonna try to do to match Sunkissed. So we need some orange, and then we need some navy splatters and some gold splatters, but not until this dries. I think I'm gonna pull my heat tool out so we get it dry good. But we can do orange because the orange can kind of go ahead and blend in with the pink. Those colors will work together nicely. So, let's see. First, let's grab a Shimmer's spray. Peachy Keen is a good orange. And we're going to need some gold for sure. So here's Glorious Days. And then we'll also do some orange peel, which is currently my favorite orange ever. Oh good, I'm so glad you can't hear it at all because it's like 90 degrees outside. There is no air conditioning in my scrapbook room. So I might melt. Okay, so we have our base here. Now we're going to add, and we're going to add much more of this text because we want you to be able to see it. Plus, here's the cool thing about text stamps. You can kind of see I'm stamping this one in a totally different way. I'm actually going to stamp 3 and 3, and it's going to cover the entire background. This is orange peel ink from Catherine Pooler. Oh, thank you so much, Alice. I appreciate it. If it's not too disturbing, if it's disturbing, I will definitely turn it off. I actually kind of forgot it was even on. I meant to turn it off before I went live. And then I was sitting here and it dawned on me that I was still cool. And I'm like, Alice, do you have wood block stamps in your stash? I just have these background stamps. Oh, that's not true. I have a sentiment one too. Well, we don't, so we went, my husband hasn't been home all week. He's been in Colorado for work. so I didn't have air conditioners in at all, and I couldn't get them in myself. Then last night my brother-in-law came over, and he got Morgan, and together him and Morgan put the air conditioners in, only to find that 2 of our air conditioners broke between last year and this year. So now we have to go shopping for more air conditioners, which is fine, but again, my husband's not home. So I have to wait for his plane to land tonight, and then we'll be good on air conditioners. Not that air conditioners really are a big thing in my house, because my house is over 100 years old, and my downstairs literally has 10-foot ceilings. If you ever saw my house, it's the tallest. It is so tall. So I have these gigantic ceilings, and so really air conditioners, unless it's like 90 degrees outside, air conditioners just take the edge off. They don't really help a whole lot. Ooh, large acrylic ones, that's nice too. I just knew that these were something a lot of people had, and okay. So I'm going to grab my vibes, because we don't really need the Maker Tape anymore, but I have marks from my Maker Tape, so let's just smush those up. So we don't have like the little marks from the Maker's Tape. And yes, I am using sprays. You could use any kind of spray that you want. You could use just watercolors. You could use, you know, basically anything. But when I put this up, you're going to see why we stamped with that texture too. Because the texture, both of the stamp sets. So we've got the shimmer. But then you can see how you can, certain parts there, you can still see that texture from the original stamp set, that linen one. You could do this in any color you like. I'm just going to go through, because we did use a stamp, because stamps tend to want to make rectangles. I'm going to go through, I'm going to dip my paintbrush right in the shimmers, and there are a couple areas that I feel that need a little bit of that, like, rectangle type thing eliminated. I'm still feeling like I can see rectangles. In certain areas. And where I have stuff pooling, just picking it up and tapping it. And it's gonna run a little bit, which is lovely. I'm not gonna hit it with water, I'm just gonna run it a little bit. Never be afraid to use your shimmers up. They have expiration dates, in case you didn't know. They won't last indefinitely. Okay. Get up here, let things dribble down. Yes, you're right. It can be. Alice says the rectangle at the top can be a great base for a title. She's right. I'm not going to cover it completely, but I am going to I want to smudge the edges just a bit. Because of how large this rectangle up here is, you could put your title there. You could put your journaling, like a journaling box up there, it would be perfect. And since Catherine Pooler ink is dye ink, so it reacts a bit to water, we're kind of pooling together our backgrounds a little bit, both the text background and the linen. I'm just going to show you here. I'm just taking my brush and kind of pouncing some of these areas. Okay, and then here if you can kind of see the colors we have going on. Now we need to dry this a bit, definitely, because I want to add some gold and some blue, but I want the gold, I want the blue, I don't want purple. Well, I don't mind if it's a little purple, but I don't want crazy purple, so we need this to dry just a couple of minutes. Does anyone have any questions? Oh, Alice says, are they like window ACs better to replace than repair? My husband does refrigeration and AC and can't buy them from his suppliers for the price stores sell them. Yep, they're window units, and yes, we junked them and we're getting new ones. If I have my way, we're getting new ones tonight on the way home from the airport, but I think he's going to be exhausted and he's going to make me wait till tomorrow. So. So we do have some warping. If you've been around, you know how much I enjoy quoting Tim Holtz. Because who doesn't enjoy quoting Tim Holtz? Tim Holtz says, paper has no memory. So you can just take that way that it is warping and just bend it to make it flat. I'm thinking about heating it with my heat tool, but that would be a lot of like yeah, I believe you. If my house wasn't 100 years old, I'd have put in central air conditioning already. But when you're dealing with 100-year-old houses, they don't recommend it. Okay. So yeah, this looks really cool, right? I love when you hold it up and you kind of get to see all of the details of it and how the background is like, I feel like when it's down here, you don't get to see like all of the cool details. Oh, yes, Karen's right. Karen's completely right. It is too hot for a heat tool. Agreed. You're right, Moira. I agree with you on that one too. I do not like shopping for things because I'm telling you, I feel like I'm replacing the same stuff over and over and over again. Like, I can remember my aunt when I was growing up. Now, I was born in 1979, so it would have been like mid to late 80s. My aunt had a refrigerator. Her refrigerator in her house was from the early 50s, so it was already like 30 years old. And it still worked. And it worked until the day that she finally decided she needed a larger freezer. But refrigerators, I've already been through 3. I've been married 23 years and I've been through, we're on our 3rd one and our 3rd one is starting to make noise. I'm like, no. And we've repaired them too, but they're the same thing. You can only repair them and it doesn't. There's some gold here now. Alright, I'm going to pull my Sunkissed out because I want to see how well I can maybe match the blue. Oh, but Alice says, I swear I bought paper that looks so similar to that. But you could just make it. You probably have. I've been seeing a lot of like ombre paper. And there's definitely been times I've looked at patterns and gone, I could make that. Alright. So here is one of the Sunkissed things. So I knew when I was doing this that I was getting the pink and the orange right. And I have the gold, so I have like the yellow, but I really want just maybe I don't. What do you guys think? Do you think a pop of blue? Or should we just pull another background stamp out and make another background, because we have time to make another one. And we'll do that one with this blue color and this like light teal. I'm almost thinking that might work better because I love this and I don't want to mess it up. And I think this background stamp would be super fun with the teal and the blue. Tempting. Let's do it. What do you guys think? If you all yell at me and say no, I won't do it. But otherwise, that's what I'm doing. Okay, we set that aside to dry. And then new sheet of cardstock, and then I'm going to have two completely gorgeous backgrounds that I can work off of. I can put them right in with my Sunkissed. I do like to do that if I'm just playing and I'm just making backgrounds and having fun with mixed media. I do like to pick colors that match a collection that I have currently kind of hanging out in my stash, because then I can put these backgrounds right into the collection bag with the Sunkissed, and I have it right there. So when I go to make a layout, I can just have an already done, already dried, ready to go mixed media background that I can then go ahead and use for things. Yeah, Karen, my original thought process when I did it was that we would add some blue in, but then as I created it and kind of fell in love with it, then I was like, you know what? Nah, no blue. Do you want to say hello to my members? This is just my members. You can say hello to them.
Hello.
What do you need?
I
Do you need to whisper something?
want food.
Oh, you want food. 14-year-old boys always want food.
Oh, look, I'm just naturally on the thing.
Yeah. And now you just knocked it over. Okay. You're gone. Bye-bye now.
Sorry.
Oh, bye. Toodaloo. Back away. Okay, let's see. Yes. 14-year-old boys always have to eat. So I am thinking Heidi Ho blue, and then let's play with this greeny color. What if we did? Let's see. Let me see if I have an oxide ink in here, because we could do this one, and then we could come over it with this one. So we're going to layer some of these backgrounds together. So what if, I almost want to do Salvage Patina. Have you guys worked with Salvage Patina yet? I've just a little bit, and I love it. So why don't we try that? So for this one, we'll start with the Distress Oxide, and then we'll come in with some Heidi Ho Blue. And then we'll just see what we get. It might work, it might not. Who knows? That's kind of the fun. I have a re-inker for my Salvage Patina, so it doesn't matter if we use a lot of it. I am going to go ahead and grab this one because there is a lot of surface area to this stamp set, to this particular stamp. And I want to get as nice of as much contact as I can. He'll go, oh, don't worry about Logan. He'll be fine. He'll go downstairs and find something to eat. I just had a grocery delivery. There's popcorn, there's apples, he doesn't need me to feed him. He just likes to do that now and then. Okay, I'm just gonna go ahead and do it. So, background stamps and me, this is something that made me not like them back in the day. But I have learned to appreciate that when you are making a background, areas like that become your best friend. And it's going to do the same thing. How very annoying. This is why woodblock stamps went out of fashion. Oh, that's a good idea. Alice, I love you. I mean, I love you anyway, but I also love you because you know I would have been done with the live and I would have been letting my mind wander making dinner tonight and I would have gone, ugh, I should have put foam under the background stamp. So now okay. Look how much better that worked. Oy vey. I want to get this last two stamps stamped pretty well, just quickly, because I want to be able to spritz this with water and have the oxide ink. Not dry completely. Just spraying with water. magical when creating backgrounds. So has everyone tried or seen this new salvaged patina color? Something on my paper. I've only done a little bit with it. I haven't done a ton. It's very pretty. I still think that we needed a peach. A peachy color. Not another teal. That's just my opinion. Actually, it's not just my opinion. Shamel agreed with me. Oh, that's a good idea. So, one of my summer projects. So what I'm doing is I just took a whole bunch of paper towels and I'm just getting all this excess water up because we're going to go ahead now and come in. I'm going to come into this middle section and start with my second stamp layer. I bought a tool. I never buy a tool. But I ordered and got a new mini cinch. And I haven't played with it yet, but I want to make swatch books for my Distress Oxides and my Catherine Pooler inks. And then I also want to make some, I can make my own ring-bound traveler's notebooks or art journals, stuff like that. And then I get to pick the paper and pick all of those things. So I haven't gotten far with it yet, but I've unboxed it. I've taken it out of the box. Yes, Moira agrees, we need a peach. Okay, so I want to, before I was using the shimmers as my base. We're gonna do this opposite. So we're gonna do the shimmers just like we did before on the background stamp. But what I wanna do is I wanna get a lighter mist, okay? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hold my spray up and then I'm actually gonna put a little bit of a paper towel barrier here. So I hope you can kind of see this. Here, let me do it this way. So I'm putting a little paper towel barrier. I have my shimmers. Oh, that's a cute idea. And then, that's a cute idea. I like that idea for a swatch book, Alice. I'm going to kind of put it, so I'm going to set it up so that what this spray is going to do is it's going to hit the paper towel border. It's going to come over here and hit the paper towel border. But then some of the ink, just a little of it, is going to kind of land on my stamp. And then we'll just get a nice light bit of ink on that background. We're not going to get so much like we did before where it's going to get puddle a little bit, which is totally fine. And you saw how nice our background turned out when you did that, but sometimes you want something a little bit more subtle. So you can kind of see there. And then I'm going to go ahead and do it again. So a little paper towel barrier, stamp, Heidi Ho blue. And then we're just kind of spray not on the stamp. So aim for the paper towel, but you're still going to get some of that ink on your stamp. you can see how different an effect that gives compared to when we used the shimmers as the base. It was a lot messier. And just suck all this in. Okay. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this over a bit. I'm going to take a little bit of this blue and we're just going to kind of pop it. Just one little spritz of the blue. One little bit of a bit of water. Just a bit. And then I'm going to grab a brush. Because I just want to smooth out, again, same idea, the idea of kind of smoothing out the areas where you can like really see this line. Need a little more. These Brutus Monroe paintbrushes, I love them, but they just like suck the color up into them. That's better. There is no wrong way to do this. I just want to get some color, again, kind of eliminate the look of a rectangle stamp. Get some dribbles going. And same in here. Just eliminate that. Your extra water, help it up. And then I'll pull this close again so that you can see all the different kind of layers of color. And then I'm thinking a splatter with like a dark navy blue. If I have it, I'm not sure. Let me hold this up because I feel like you can see, like, but down here it just maybe looks like a bit of a mess, but if you pop it up, you can see all of the detail that we've created in that background. So we have layers of color and layers of stamping and layers of detail. And then while this is still dampish, we'll kind of bend it back into shape. Thank you. Yes, that's what I love too. I love that I love the depth. That's why I said I need to put it up against the camera so you guys can really see, you know, that you can see all those different layers we put on here. Okay, let's see if I have like a dark blue. I have blue jeans. I have Jenny B blue. Those would both work nice. And they're not too green. Ooh, Mama Sings the Blues. That's a really pretty dark blue, but it's a coloring, so it doesn't have any shimmer, and I kind of want a bit of shimmer. So let's, oh, and I have this one. I've never used this one before. Yay! That's awesome, Alice. That's the best thing I've heard all day. Alice says I'm inspired. I'm pulling out stuff to play now. Yes! Perfect. Okay, let's do Deep Blue Sea because that's a vibes and it's nice and dark. But I'm also liking the look of the Jenny B blue, so we're gonna go ahead and splatter with those two. Up a good little smacker. And because this is still just a bit on the wet side, these splatters are going to kind of like spread out and they're going to add another layer of depth to this page. So they're not going to look like they're sitting on top of the paper. They're going to look like they are part of the entire design of the paper. Oh, Karen, I'm so glad you came though. Even though we had some technical difficulties, I'm so glad you were able to come today. I know it's late for you, and but you'll have the replay to watch too if you forget a step. And I'm generally available, so you could even like send me a message in the morning. That would be fine. I wouldn't be upset at all. If you forget a step or you need some help. Okay. Ooh, note to self. Deep Blue Sea is a lovely color. Okay, I am going to go ahead and kind of roll my paper towel over this. Just to get, because that will ensure that my splatters look like splatters and like part of my background and not like something sitting on top. Okay, look how cool this looks. See how it looks like it's just part of the background now. And it'll like splatter. These are like my dream kind of backgrounds to make. Not great with, yes, I have, this one is the Deep Blue Sea, which I just got, and this was the first time I used it, and I think we're going to be using it a lot now. because it's really pretty. I hope you guys can kind of see how those vibes are like shimmering. These are the kinds of backgrounds I love to make most of all. I don't really like the messy look of a lot of mixed media backgrounds. I like it when it has this kind of like depth and pattern and a whole lot of different areas going on. And you could use this as a background, or you could cut it apart. You could use it, you could die cut your letters with it and create a title. You could cut like circles or hexagons or shapes of any kind. But just before you do that, make sure it's super dry and maybe put it under something heavy to really flatten it out good if you're going to cut it apart and use it as embellishments on a page or use it as your title. I think this would look really cool, die cut with some alphabet dies and used as a title. Yes, me too, Karen. That's how I am. Karen says, I love it. I've tried mixed media and hated the results, but this is more controlled, so I find it more pleasing. Yes, I think that that's kind of me too. I find this to be a more controlled way of doing it, and I like this type of mixed media a lot as well. Okay, sounds lovely. I'm gonna head out. I'm so glad that we've actually got to create today, that YouTube didn't decide to go down for the entire day. And just keep your eyes open on my social media, because I think these backgrounds are gonna get used fairly quickly. I have the most beautiful photo to use with Sunkissed. Do you guys want to see it quick? On a second. Just go through these pictures here. Here. So my brother sent me this one of my niece in Maryland. How perfect is that picture to use with Sunkissed? So cute, right? Like, it's perfect. So that's why I have Sunkissed on the brain right now, because as soon as I printed this photo out for my brother, I was like, oh, I know exactly what collection I have that I can play with. So I think that that'll be coming up really, really soon on my channel, because I'm itching to play with that. So, all right. Well, I hope you guys all have a wonderful day. I miss her so much. My brother and I and my sisters have been planning summertime fun where we can get together, because we're all vaccinated. We're all fully vaccinated. The only one we have to do yet is Logan, and he gets his shot next week, his first shot. So once he is vaccinated, we're good to go. And then I have more pictures to scrapbook. Yay! Because let me tell ya, the pictures were slim pickings last year. All right, you guys. I'm so glad you didn't miss it either, Moira. Thank you for staying up with me, Karen, and popping in and talking and chatting with us. Thank you so much. Alice, make sure you send me a picture of what you make now that you're pulling stuff out and you're inspired to create. And I will talk to you guys all very soon. Bye.